God's promise never fails. Stay tuned to God's promise to Abraham and Sarah. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Watch the video and comment below on what you have learned from Abraham or his wife Sarah. Enjoy, and God bless you. God continued speaking to Abraham.
And Sarai, your wife, don't call her Sarai any long. Call her Sarah. I'll bless her, yes. I'll give you a son by her. Oh, and how I'll bless her. Nations will come from her. Kings of nations will come from her.
Abraham fell flat on his face, and then he laughed, thinking, can a 100-year-old man father a son? And can Sarah, at 90 years, have a baby? Recovering, Abraham said to God, "Oh, keep Ishmael alive and well before you." But God said,
That's not what I mean. Your wife Sarah will have a baby, a son. Name him Isaac. I'll establish my covenant with him and his descendants, a covenant that lasts forever. And Ishmael? Yes, I heard your prayer for him. I'll also bless him. I'll make sure he has plenty of children, a huge family. He'll father 12 princes. I'll make him a great nation. But I'll establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah will give you about this time next year.
God finished speaking with Abraham and left. God visited Sarah exactly as he said he would. God did to Sarah what he promised. Sarah became pregnant and gave Abraham a son in his old age. And at the very time God had set, Abraham named him Isaac. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Whoever would have suggested to Abraham that Sarah would one day nurse a baby? Yet here I am. I've given the old man a son. One day, Sarah saw the son that Hagar the Egyptian had borne to Abraham, poking fun at her son Isaac. She told Abraham, "Get rid of her and her son. No child is going to share inheritance with my son Isaac." The matter gave great pain to Abraham. After all, Ishmael was his son. But God spoke to Abraham.
Don't feel badly about the boy and your maid. Do whatever Sarah tells you. Your descendants will come through Isaac. Regarding your maid's son, be assured that I'll also develop a great nation for him. He's your son too.
Abraham got up early the next morning, got some food together and a canteen of water for Hagar, put them on her back and sent her away with the child. When the water was gone, she left the child under a shrub and went off 50 yards or so. She said, "I can't watch my son die." As she sat, she broke into sobs. Meanwhile, God heard the boy crying. The angel of God called from heaven to Hagar. "What's wrong, Hagar? Don't be afraid. God has heard the boy and knows the fix he's in. Up now, go get the boy. Hold him tight. I'm going to make of him a great nation." Just then, God opened her eyes. She looked. She saw a well of water. She went to it and filled her canteen and gave the boy a long, cool drink. God was on the boy's side as he grew up. He lived out in the desert and became a skilled archer. After all this, God tested Abraham. God said, "Abraham." "Yes," answered Abraham, "I'm listening." He said,
Take your dear son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains that I'll point out to you.
Abraham got up early in the morning and saddled his donkey. He took 2 of his young servants and his son Isaac. He had split wood for the burnt offering. He set out for the place God had directed him. On the 3rd day, he looked up and saw the place in the distance. Abraham told his 2 young servants, "Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I are going over there to worship. Then we'll come back to you." Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and gave it to Isaac, his son, to carry. He carried the flint and the knife. The 2 of them went off together. Isaac said to Abraham, his father, "Father?" "Yes, my son." "We have flint and wood, but where's the sheep for the burnt offering?" Abraham said, "Son, God will see to it that there's a sheep for the burnt offering." And they kept on walking together. They arrived at the place to which God had directed him. Abraham built an altar. He laid out the wood. Then he tied up Isaac and laid him on the wood. Abraham reached out and took the knife to kill his son. Just then, an angel of God called out to him out of heaven, "Abraham, Abraham." "Yes, I'm listening." "Don't lay a hand on that boy. Don't touch him. Now I know how fearlessly you fear God. You didn't hesitate to place your son, your dear son, on the altar for me." Abraham looked up. He saw a ram caught by its horns in the thicket. Abraham took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. The angel of God spoke from heaven a second time to Abraham. "I swear, God's sure word, because you have gone through with this and have not refused to give me your son, your dear son, I'll bless you. Oh, how I'll bless you. And I'll make sure that your children flourish, like stars in the sky, like sand on the beaches, and your descendants will defeat their enemies. All nations on earth will find themselves blessed through your descendants because you obeyed me." Sarah died, lived 127 years. Abraham mourned for Sarah and wept. Abraham was now an old man. God had blessed Abraham in every way. Abraham spoke to the senior servant in his household, the one in charge of everything he had. "Put your hand under my thigh and swear by God, God of heaven, God of earth, that you will not get a wife for my son from among the young women of the Canaanites here, but will go to the land of my birth and get a wife for my son Isaac." The servant answered, "But what if the woman refuses to leave home and come with me? Do I then take your son back to your home country?" Abraham said, "Oh no, never. By no means are you to take my son back there. God, the God of heaven, took me from the home of my father and from the country of my birth, and spoke to me in solemn promise. I'm giving this land to your descendants. This God will send his angel ahead of you to get a wife for my son. And if the woman won't come, you are free from this oath you have sworn to me. But under no circumstances are you to take my son back there." So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master, Abraham, and gave his solemn oath. Stay tuned to the concluding story of Abraham, father of many nations. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Comment below on what you have learned from Abraham or his wife Sarah. Enjoy, and God bless you.